Hi, and welcome to Tim and Joel's Weekly Draw. Joel, this week we're talking about regular wrestling stuff. First time in a little while. It's been prediction shows for pretty much forever. And then there's this little stopgap, and then there's prediction shows for pretty much forever after this. How you doing?
Tim and Joel's Predictive Draw.
Predictive Draw, in which we falsely predict a great number of things and correctly predict a small handful.
Yes, once in a while we get it right. And if you're here to get it right. Isn't that right, Tim?
You are here to get it right. And if you'd like to continue getting it right, you can hit our subscribe button at youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. And you can check us out on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern at the same place. We're very cool. You should come hang out with us.
My little baby's all grown up. You're doing the plugs now.
Or slash.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Tonight for free on BR Live at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's free, by the way. Did I tell you it was free? Because it's for free.
I don't know where BR Live is. I'll have to Google that and then check it out.
Part of Bleacher Report, and it's live and it's free at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I love Bleacher Report. They give me no-nonsense rundowns of SmackDown when I don't feel like watching it.
Well, the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament continues tonight for free on BR Live at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's free, and the matches that are going to be on the card include a 6-woman tag between Hikaru Shida, Mai Saruga, Rin Kadokura taking on the team of Emi Sakura, Vani, and Maki Ito, everybody's favorite. Tim, I'm looking forward to seeing the AEW Women's Champion in action in a ring with Maki Ito, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in that 6-person tag that you're looking forward to seeing?
Nope.
Wonderful. And then meanwhile, on the Japanese bracket final, we have Yuka Sakazaki taking on Ryo Mizunami. It's going to be hotly contested. You and I talked about it on our show Thursday nights 8 p.m. Eastern on youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. Do you have a potential winner between Sakazaki and Mizunami, or maybe a favorite going into this?
I'm thinking probably Mizunami is my guess.
And we had talked about that. Mizunami is definitely bigger than Sakazaki, one of the larger athletes in this entire bracket. I'm looking forward to maybe seeing Shida and Mizunami somewhere down the line. I think there's a really good David and Goliath story, or whatever the female equivalent of that would be. So I will look forward to that. Meanwhile, in the U.S. bracket semifinal, it's Thunder Rosa taking on Riho in a match that I am very much looking forward to.
It does sound very fun. I'm curious to see how they mix it up.
And they will mix it up indeed. Do you think it'll be Rosa or Riho walking away with the dub?
100% Thunder Rosa. I know Rio's a former champ, but 100% Thunder Rosa.
So you're thinking the finals could be Thunder Rosa taking on Nyla Rose for the U.S. final?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I'm not against that. I think that you're on the right track. And then let's say who would your U.S. finalist be?
Thunder Rosa.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to take Nyla Rose. Ooh, I think there's a dominance there that can't be understated from Nyla Rose. And then between Sakazaki and Mizunami, let's say it's Mizunami versus Nyla Rose. Yeah. That's an interesting matchup. Yeah. I think any of those two women taking on Nyla Rose would be interesting. Sakazaki is a smaller girl, and those two would be able to really go after each other. I would look forward to that match too.
I think I'd prefer the Lady Haas fight, but yeah.
I'm all for it. When this whole thing started, I said I want Aja Kong versus Thunder Rosa in the finals.
That would have been best.
This is still good. If we do Mizunami and Nyla Rose in the full final, all for it.
Totally fine. There's really kind of no bad direction here, so that's encouraging.
Yeah, again, that's tonight. It's free on BR Live at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's free. Tim, it's free.
Wow. I mean, wow.
As we shift gears to Monday Night Raw, we see the WWE Championship on the line as WWE Champion The Miz, who is our favorite champion forever and ever, amen, no questions asked, taking on Bobby Lashley of the Hurt Business. Now, Tim, I think you have your prediction ready, locked, and loaded.
Congratulations, new champion Bobby Lashley, is my guess.
So you're thinking just 1 week or 2 weeks of championship for The Miz?
Yeah, I feel like he's the type of guy who's cool with that. You know, he got a pretty big honor in being like a double Grand Slam champion just by getting it. I think this is a transition tactic to get the title on Bobby Lashley and put him into the main title picture, which is excellent, in my opinion.
I'm all for it. I understand it. I also think that there's still Fastlane in the way, and we have a story to tell. Do we tell the story? Maybe we do Lashley and Miz once again at Fastlane in a big stipulation match, maybe a cage. We're going to get to a cage match later this week anyway. Or do we tell the story maybe maybe Drew McIntyre, who returns on Monday night to talk about his loss. Maybe him and Sheamus finally have their one-on-one match, and that's for number one contendership at WrestleMania to take on the winner of Miz and Lashley. Is there a space for that?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to go about it. I think it makes Fastlane a lot more exciting if they are able to do a number one contender match, right? Yeah, like the one thing I could see happening is the Miz, weaseling out of it, obviously, and then we do, there's no escape, put him in a cage or something like that on Fastlane.
I guess we'll have to see, because we get to Monday and it'll be those two, and no one's been barred from ringside. The Hurt Business is going to be right there, or at least available there. When it comes to Drew getting his payback on Bobby Lashley, I think turnabout is fair play. So I don't really see Drew getting involved in the match as much as I see him getting involved after the match.
Correct. Yeah, and he's an upstanding guy. He's a guy who's all about honor and respect, so I'm sure that's not really gonna he won't interfere the way that a heel would.
It's a match that has a lot of people talking, and we're looking forward to it on Monday. We still have 2.5 more hours to fill, and I'm sure we'll find out in about 3-4 hours time after this taping as to what else is happening on Raw this coming Monday.
Something about Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny, I'm sure Naomi. Lana and Naomi will have their, maybe not. They'll have a match. Let's go with Charlotte and Asuka. They continue their whole march towards their match. They'll show the Rhea Ripley previews, maybe do a coming next week, or she'll be on the Raw after Fastlane. While we're spitballing, who else? John Morrison will maybe have a match with Riddle again. Who knows? We have a lot of ways to go.
There's plenty of things they can kind of draw on at least.
That's right. And like you said, Bad Bunny, it's just going to be a 2.5 hour Bad Bunny concert. I don't really mind that.
Yeah, fine. I mean, they're mostly filling 2 of that out of the 3 hours anyway, so.
That's right. Well, who's not filling in 2 of the 3 hours is AEW, and they have their Crossroads special this Wednesday night, a full card, starting with the main event, Shaq and Jade Cargill taking on Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. Tim, the match is here.
Yep. The match we've all been waiting months and months and months for. We get to see if Jade Cargill can wrestle.
It's going to be a breakout match for both Jade and Red Velvet.
Hopefully. That's what we're hoping.
I mean, it's not like we've seen Red Velvet on Dynamite since she was delivering a great promo and then brought into the match. She's been on the AEW Unrestricted podcast, and it was great. Very, very good to listen to her backstory. But unfortunately, we haven't seen her on Dynamite since she was put into this match.
Yeah, it's been hyped weird, but...
Speaking of hype weird, we're seeing that Paul White signed with AEW. People are clamoring for Paul White versus Shaq, as that's on the table again.
What? Who wants that? Who's clamoring for that?
I'm a dark timeline booker type of guy. I don't want that.
No, but look, the only thing I want to see from Shaq is for him to recreate his falling down, right? Like that gif. That's all I want. It's the only thing he needs to do. And do that stupid elbow thing he did, or backhand, or whatever it was.
He's calling that what? Is he calling it Black Thunder? Was that what he called it?
I don't care.
So who are your winners in this match?
You know what? Shaq and Jade.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. And I think Jade will get the pin on Red Velvet.
No doubt. No doubt.
Or if they do it as a full intergender match where the men and the women can mix it up independently, then Jade will pin Cody.
Yeah, exactly.
I would like to see that.
Me too. Not going to happen.
Fair. We'll have the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament final, which we just discussed, the U.S. winner versus the Japan winner. Go back a couple of minutes to talk about that because we covered it at the beginning of the show. By the way, tonight, BR Live for free, 7 p.m. Eastern, BR Live free. It's the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament continuing. The Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier between Max Caster and Dark Order's 10. That is something I did not expect for either man to be a part of.
Nope. I don't know who Max Caster is. so I'm gonna say 10 wins.
Max Caster is one of the members of the Acclaimed.
Oh. Oh God, 10 wins. I don't know. Like what? It's a weird book. I don't know, man.
I agree. It's not what we expected. It's not what you and I talked about on our show. It's one of those bookings where I guess they want to give an opportunity to either man, and I get it. It's just a little unexpected.
Yeah, when you put everyone in a tag team or a faction, it kind of makes things odd. Like I didn't know that. I don't know. Like I know the Acclaimed. I don't know either of their names. Like
Well, now you know one of them.
now I know one of them.
Congratulations. I'll let you go figure out the other one's name. Let's move on to six-man tag action. FTR and Tully Blanchard. My God, they're going to take on Jurassic Express. This is Tully Blanchard's first match on national television in 30 years, and AEW had to correct themselves because originally they just said first match on TV, and then a bunch of people were like, actually. Yeah. So they did that. Any expectations in this match? I told you mine. I'm expecting Tully to get the hot tag, to do the Canadian Destroyer off the apron, really sell hard, maybe do a blade job, get that hot comeback, and then tag in Dax, who gets the win.
I expect Tully to go against exclusively Marco Stunt in a fashion where you could play the Benny Hill theme song over it and it would fit perfectly. That's about the only action I expect Tully to be involved in.
We've seen Tully get involved in other spots too, though. He's done a couple of things.
Yeah, he tried to do that 3-man tag kind of finisher with the mask that one time. He didn't really get it.
The top rope pile driver.
Yeah. Which is about as low a bar as it can get, and it's tough, man. I don't expect much of him. This is no slight. He's a very talented individual. It's just weird.
Love Tully Blanchard. Don't know why we're doing this match, but here we are. Speaking of matches that I don't know, well, actually, I know why we're doing this. It's going to be quite good. As a 10-man tag was announced this morning, it's going to be Dark Order's Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, 5, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds taking on Matt Hardy, Private Party, and TH2. Again, Dark Order is now Matt Hardy's evil nemesis. Matt Hardy wants to take all of them out one by one. This is a great way for him to try and do it, especially with Private Party and TH2 in the mix.
Yeah, I like that. I actually wouldn't even mind if TH2 were to sign with Matt Hardy, expand his Carney manager bit is probably one of the better gimmicks Matt Hardy's had, in my opinion, in the last little while. And I think if he wants to expand it, I do like the big factions in AEW. I think they should get more use, and I think this would be a good little rivalry for quite a while. So. For
those who watch BTE, Matt Hardy did offer TH2 a contract to join the Matt Hardy brand.
Love it. I hope
so. I'm a fan. We're going to find out this 10-man tag. It's going to be great. It's going to be a bunch of talented wrestlers beating each other up, all in the name of beating up Matt Hardy.
Yeah, which everyone can get behind. You also almost said Uval Eno, which sounds like an awesome Brian Eno Evil Uno merger, which would be a good gimmick if anyone wants to do that with their life.
It's up for grabs. Just DM me and let me know that you're interested in it.
Yeah,
I'll sign off.
You can sign a Carney contract with that guy.
Right. It'll be a 60% interest rate.
Yeah.
Speaking of 60%, we have a press conference with Chris Jericho and MJF. And I'm assuming Eric Bischoff's going to be back in the saddle for that.
Every time.
Yeah. Moving along, because that's it for AEW.
That's
good
fine.
enough. For NXT, we have announced the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match between Shania Payne and Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, who won the Dusty Cup earlier this month. MSK versus Birch and Lorcan. That's off because of Wesley's storyline hand injury at the hands of grizzled young veterans. So now's the question, Tim. Who wins the match? And is this an excuse to bring Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez up or keep Shania Payne strong?
I don't know, right? This is a coin flip for me. There are good reasons to go either direction. What I would like to see is Dakota and Raquel win, because I think they're both ready to come up. Raquel maybe less so, but with Dakota at her side, the two of them work really, really well. So
See, I'm on the side of Shania Payne going over strong, going into Mania, dropping the titles to Lana and Naomi.
Ooh.
And on the other side of things, seeing Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez turn on each other.
Yeah.
Seeing Gonzalez finally get her match with Io Shirai for the NXT Women's Championship, which could end Io Shirai's NXT Championship reign.
Which I think you've got it there, right? Because we have been doing the Lana Nia thing for so long. The WrestleMania payoff, this is how we get there. 100%. 100%.
Could have been a tables match, but instead we decided to do it in a tag team match, which, you know what? There are worse things in the world. I would be a big fan of that. And listen, this whole show was predicated on us talking about Lana winning stuff.
Whole thing?
The whole thing.
Every bit of this to that.
That and Tamina.
Yeah. Who's getting a push? She's getting a push.
On my winning streak list. So let's shift our focus to SmackDown. While Tamina is not officially involved in a match this week or upcoming, we did have an announcement on Talking Smack, of all places. Ooh. Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso will face off this Friday night in a steel cage match. Now, if Daniel Bryan wins, he gets Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at Fastlane. If Daniel Bryan loses, he has to shake Roman Reigns' hand, acknowledge him as a tribal chief, acknowledge him as the head of the table and as the man who runs SmackDown. Tim, what are we doing?
We're getting there.
It's a steel cage match.
We're getting there.
But
it does.
Brian has to know. Brian has to know. Last time we did a steel cage match, it didn't end well for KO.
No, it did not. Not at all. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe we're going to get that tag match. But
you think we'll get Daniel Bryan and Edge versus Roman and Jey Uso?
Yeah, I think so. And then maybe like a longer, well, no, if they're doing this cage match, I don't see Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso going on after.
Yeah, usually cage matches do end feuds.
Yeah, and I think it'll probably be KO Jey Uso going into Mania.
Yeah, I'm not against that. Well, it could be KO run down and give Daniel Bryan the win by taking out Jey Uso, just like Uso did to KO back on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, they might do this bold thing and shake out the situation, throw Daniel Bryan into the title picture before Mania, which is interesting.
He tossed himself in at Elimination Chamber when he won that match.
I know, but now we're going to get Edge versus Daniel Bryan, maybe? I don't know how excited I am for that.
I'm all for that. I mean, listen, I think that match is coming.
It. Yeah.
It's going to happen, Tim. You're going to have to jump on board, join the train, and choo-choo your way through it.
It just seems premature. Like, again, where does Roman Reigns go? The guy with the best written gimmick in all of wrestling right now.
There's got to be a place for him, and we're going to find out where that's going to be sometime down the line, because we're on the road to WrestleMania, and you're on the road with us, and our predictions continue next week as we take an off-ramp and we go back to AEW, and we're going to predict AEW Revolution next week. The week after that, we're going to predict WWE Fastlane. The week after that, there's probably another pay-per-view we can predict. The week after that, there's probably a regular week in wrestling we can talk about, and then probably the week after that is WrestleMania, I think.
Maybe.
Meanwhile, if they want to follow us on the road to WrestleMania, they can follow us at timandjoelpod.com, youtube.com/timandjoelpod. And Tim, where can the kids find you independently sitting in the back seat watching the internet?
At Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter.
And I sit at the navigation seat. I'm not driving. No, I sit in the front seat. Okay. Helping the navigation. Tim, technically you're driving. Who am I kidding?
I don't know what's going on.
Wonderful. You can find me at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. As Tim says goodnight, so do we. Enjoy your week in wrestling. We'll see you next week.